And I think we'll go ahead and start the meeting then. And I thank all of you that have joined us here tonight for this virtual meeting. A little unusual, but part of the process here. This is the Loudoun County Community Veterans Engagement Board meeting for April. We meet bi-monthly, as you know, normally in a physical environment at the county, but tonight virtual. And I'd like to go ahead to the next slide. Good. And ask you to join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much for joining me. Next one. And remind you of the mission of the Veterans Engagement Board. And we're looking at promoting a healthy and enriched lifestyle for Loudoun County veterans and their family members through community outreach and advocacy for Loudoun County veterans issues. And it means a lot this month, I have to say, for sure, as things change so rapidly. Next one. We have a number of items on the agenda tonight. I wanted to talk a little bit about the impact of the virus situation on Loudoun County. I wanted to talk about the Veterans Experience Action Center, which we had planned for on the 5th and 6th of June. We have two guest speakers, one from Veterans Grove, Virginia, and one for Habitat for Humanity. And I wanted to return and discuss the Veterans Experience Action Center and options we may have, and then get into a discussion on how we could support veterans in Loudoun County. And that's the gist of the meeting. So let's go to the next one then, if you don't mind. Just as a reminder, I'm sure everybody on this knows this right now, but we're under executive order from the governor. Closure of non-essential business, bans of large gatherings, as you well know. That was extended on March 30 to Executive Order 55, which is a statewide stay-at-home order, which I'm certainly following. And that took effect immediately and remains in place until June the 10th, which happens to be after our Veterans Engagement Action Committee meeting. So the closures, as you know, are nationwide. The case numbers do expand somewhat at the current time, including Loudoun and especially Fairfax County within Virginia. And I would expect some extensions of some bans, not all over, until the virus cases slow or reduce. That's conjecture, of course, depending on what happens in the next few days. Will we go to the next one, please? By the way, if you have any questions, you can just come off mute and ask and see if I can add some points. I was looking through the Commonwealth's website, and it indicated on the 10th of April that 150,000 people in Virginia had filed for unemployment benefits. I mention that because that certainly has an impact on what we're trying to do within the Commonwealth. And then I updated it from April 13th, which was yesterday. I didn't do it today. So as of yesterday, 5,747 cases identified, 913 people in hospital, death 149, now plus 8. And you know, I took the top 3 counties, and Fairfax by far has the largest number of cases, over 1,000 cases at the current time. And Loudoun had, as of yesterday, 324. So I looked at the situation, and it's always a question about whether the situation is tabling or flattening out or whatever they want to call it. But from what I've seen right now, at least within the Commonwealth, there's still an increase. A couple of places within the Commonwealth are slowing down, but Fairfax is still a strong, unfortunately, a strong source of cases. Next one. And then I'm going to switch now to the Veterans Engagement program that we had scheduled for June. That was where we were going to have the VA representatives join with veterans throughout the county, talk about activities going on with the VA, and also give veterans an opportunity, as Mike knows, to talk with case management with veterans administration. When we talked to Loudoun County Public Schools a while back, and Tom Grant could comment if he has any additions, but they felt that they could not reschedule until 2021 in that facility because they have a very heavy schedule. The calendar has not been checked for availability yet. And my own view, the venue would not be conducive for many veterans and families under the present conditions. And we have not contacted our VA resources yet for any availabilities of staff. It's a little premature for that. Tom, did you have any other comments on the public school right now?
None from my end, Jim.
Thank you. We were considering to look at some alternate facilities, one of which is the National Conference Center, which is located here in this area. And from what I've seen online, I've not visited it. I didn't have any opportunity to visit the conference center, but it seems to have adequate facilities. We have not contacted them yet to check availability. And we do know that the facility would have a fee based on the number of attendees. That's really just information. We'll talk about that again in a couple of minutes.
Hey,
But we
Jim,
are indicating to ourselves, if we were able to do it later in the year, assuming things are quieted down, we'd still have to look at a facility. Maybe the public school, maybe not, and possibly the conference center or a similar facility. So we're still looking at those options right now.
Jim, this
I
is
know-
Richard.
Somebody has a comment?
Yes, Jim, this is Richard. I have dealt with them several times in trying to coordinate a place to do some Jaguar Club activities.
Mhm.
So I'd be happy to help you, and they're just across the street from where I live.
Well, that would be quite helpful. I'm not sure that whether they're open or have people from their staff in the facility at the current time. But it would be good to get some idea and some knowledge of what the situation would entail. Again, there's a lot of ifs and questions before we could get that far. But at some point in time, we want to have that conference set up, but it's going to depend on what happens in Virginia and other places. Does
Understood.
anybody else want to make a comment at all? If not, I'll go on to the next one. Next view there. So, one of the things that we need to figure out is what the requirements would be for veteran support from in this area in this particular time frame. One of the things that I would expect
Just popped
is
up.
that there'll be more requests from veterans.
Fix the whole screen will come up.
Comment? No, I guess not. Because of this particular situation. And we need to know when a meeting of that size, which we had estimated somewhere in the neighborhood of 500 plus people coming to a meeting, when do we think something like that would be safe or possible or get cleared by the local authorities? As you well know, that's an unknown at the current time. And would there be a date in 2020? We don't know yet. So I've just said that. The other things we have to check with the VA, the Baltimore office, the Department of Veteran Services here in Virginia, the VA, Veterans Experience Office, which is the national group that coordinates with us. So there's a lot of questions and coordination would have to go on. We'd have to get clearance from a lot of different directions before we could have that particular event. And we will look, as Richard Ryan just mentioned, we will explore other venues as well as the public school. And Tom, I don't know whether it's possible to ask them yet whether they have a calendar or have even thought about it. If you could let me know later, is there any contact available with them yet? Or is everybody really closed down? So
I'll attempt to do that and let you know, Jim.
thank you very much. So that's where we are. And as I said, again, I don't know about you, but I'm isolated here at Falcons Landing. We've got a closed facility, and we're trying to make sure we stay healthy and safe anyhow. The next view graph. We have two guest speakers tonight. And I think Donnell Johnson is the first one. And he's going to nod his head here in a second. I'm looking at him. Okay. So Donnell, you have some view graphs with you and you're prepared to talk about your program?
I guess it'll help if I turn on the volume, huh?
Right.
Yes, I do.
So Donald Johns from Veterans Grow Virginia, sorry, excuse me. Please go ahead.
How much time do I have?
10 minutes?
Okay. All right.
And Donnell, I've opened it up. If you want to share your screen, you should be able to select the option to share screen on your end.
I'm going to play a quick video, and then from there, I'll go into my slide set. So I'm with Veterans Grove, Virginia. It is it's an organization where we showcase and spotlight the contributions of veteran entrepreneurs. The video that I'm about to show you is actually a military spouse that works for a military-owned business called the Jewelry Republic that was a vendor at our event. And instead of me telling you how the event affected the patrons and the people that went to the event, I want you guys to hear from them.
Amazing experience just to see all of the knowledge and experience here in the room, and we've had a great time connecting with folks coming out for the day.
So did you connect with any other veterans while you were here?
We did, actually. So there's so much room for collaboration here. Our businesses oftentimes overlap with one another, and so it's a fantastic way to network and to have future business possibilities.
So you said future business possibilities with other veterans?
Absolutely, why not?
Okay. And so would you do this again?
I absolutely would. I think this is a fantastic experience. It's a great way to get people out into the community and for the community to get to know us.
You know, when you said that you would do this again, would you recommend some friends to come out here? Who would you recommend to come to this event?
I would say to participate in the event. I would say anybody who has a business who really wants some exposure. This is just an amazing outlet for you, and great because we're inviting our civilian counterparts to come in and shop with us. So, it's double for you.
Yeah. What did you think about, the vice mayor and all of the other people that came to the event?
I think that's absolutely amazing. It just shows you the type of exposure that we're getting and the hard work that you've done at Veterans Grow America to put this event together. So, it's pretty fantastic.
Well, you guys did a lot of stuff behind the scenes, and so this is not just a Veterans Grove, Virginia event. The Jewelry Republic and Greg Buddha and you did some great things for this event. So thank you very much in support.
Yes, we're proud to be here. So thank you for having us.
Thank you very much. So that was just a quick video kind of telling you guys from the military spouse and the veteran perspective about our event. And let me just get into the slides real quick on what we're about. So our intent is, I'm sorry. Sorry about that. That was a little drama for you right there.
It made it seem like awesome. I liked it.
It scared the mess out of me. My PTSD kicked in. So our mission is we provide a forum for veteran and military spouses to showcase and grow their business. What we do is we partner with local, state, and federal organizations to increase their brand awareness. And we do this by doing events in the local communities. That event that you saw was our first veteran business pop-up in Prince William County, where we showcased 17 veteran-owned businesses. At that event, we had 17 veteran businesses, but the big part that was most important is that we had over 1,000 people come out and support this event, which blew my mind. I wasn't expecting to get that big of a turnout, but it was huge. How we do this is we basically market veteran-owned businesses, and we showcase their businesses throughout the community. And this is a national movement to increase the resources and support for veteran businesses to succeed. So it's a great program because as veteran entrepreneurs, doing business by yourself is pretty lonely. And a way to be able to just grow your business is to partner with other veteran-owned businesses to be able to grow your business and then learn at the same time. So the Veteran Business Pop-Up, what it does is it builds community, collaboration, and also resources. I want to give you a quick story about this young lady that's in the back right here. She was so inspired. She helped out with the event, and she was starting her business, and she went through Bunker Labs to get her business started, but she hadn't started her business yet. And she was so inspired by the event that she went on ahead and started her business. And what happened was that she collaborated with several of the business owners and got her business started. In between, and so last month on April 1st, she started her business, and she has been making $700 a day since April 1st. And what she does is she sells head wraps. And so that just shows you the power of our community and how we come together to be able to help our businesses grow.
Can I ask you a couple of questions?
Yes, sir.
Kind of eager to do that. So your focus is on people that are trying to start or have businesses. Is that correct?
Yes.
It's not people that are unemployed. It's people that are looking.
So these are for veteran-owned businesses.
Okay.
So,
Have you had any thoughts with your organization yet about how to handle the situation as we come out of this particular crisis here with the virus? Have you a program that would look at that yet?
Actually, what we did is because we were doing local events. In fact, we were supposed to have a local event on March 14th in Prince William County. And we had this and another event scheduled. And since we couldn't do a local event, we changed it to a virtual event. So we're doing a virtual veteran business pop-up on May 2nd.
Okay.
And so we're just figuring out ways to be able to provide the same type of service, but in a different manner. People are still purchasing, as you could tell by the first example that I showed you. Is people are out there, buying. However, it has affected businesses like restaurants and several other businesses like that. But we just gotta we got to do what we learned in the military. We got to adapt and overcome.
Okay.
And that's the beauty of this group here.
All right.
These are some of our partners. Just a little demographic on what Virginia looks like and how we're growing over the next couple of years. We're number 8 right now when it ranks to the number of veterans that are in the state of Virginia, but we're going up to number 4 or 5 within the next 10 years. We were established in 2019, but like I told you before, we were supposed to have an event on March 14th, which got postponed. And we moved this event to a virtual event on May 2nd, and now it's going to go national. And so not only the people of Virginia will be able to go to this event, but now we're opening it up to businesses worldwide. We still want to do local events once this thing passes. And we were looking at doing something in Loudoun County. That's one of the reasons why Tom and Christy invited me here, because this is important to our community, because it helps in so many different ways. As you heard in the video, the young lady said that she was able to connect with other veterans. We were able to understand each other's story, and that's a community. Our community together really works hard together and help each other out in so many different ways. In order to be able to do that, we need a venue that would hold up to 30 vendors and up to 150 shoppers per hour. And hopefully, we do have a couple vendors that make and sell food. We would need a place that has free parking, Wi-Fi, power outlets, and that we're able to set up, a day ahead of time.
Do you have a program that you have at this event, or is it just an opportunity for people to come and meet the different vendors that are there?
It all depends on the last event we had a couple programs. We had a couple speakers. We had the Army G1 Sergeant Major coming out to talk, and a bunch of other people that are coming out to the event that have tables, like AUSA came out to talk about the services that they have to offer. the VFW, talked about the services that they have to offer.
Okay. Okay.
So if there's any questions, this is how you can reach out to me. You can reach out to me at Donnell at Veterans Grow America. You guys could also visit our website, veteransgrowamerica.com. Any questions?
Well, I appreciate what you've told me. It started my thought process about where we could blend together as we start to move forward with our own plans. For example, if we were able to schedule an event in Loudoun County, it would seem that you would fit into that quite well with us. Not necessarily your own event, but that's something we'll have to discuss.
Oh yeah, it's all about collaboration, and we're definitely about that. Christy actually came and spoke at. I also sit on I'm the chair of the Veterans Council at the Prince William Chamber of Commerce, and it's all about just collaborating and sharing information.
Okay, thank you very much.
And aside from that, Donnell, you also are part of, or you set up the 1 million cups.
Yes.
As well, and is a very just avid individual out there speaking to veterans constantly. I encourage you all to follow his LinkedIn page. He has tons of different things, messages that he shares, obviously about the pop-up events, but also all the veteran businesses that he runs into and meets. He helps to share them and promote them and spread the word about them, which I think is really vital right now when we know that veterans may be hurting in terms of having income coming in. He's doing a great service to veterans that own their own business to keep them in business, helping to share what they're selling, what they're doing with their businesses in the community. So I highly encourage you to follow him. He also has Instagram. He's doing all kinds of social media. Thank you, Donnell, for joining us and sharing more about the work that you're doing. And hopefully we can get something out in Loudoun.
Absolutely.
Things get a little bit better.
Right.
And, my platform on May 2nd is opening up. And so if you guys want to, provide some speakers or something for that, to share anything that's going on in the veteran community, I'm definitely open to that.
Well, thank you very much. I'm sure I'll get in contact with you a little bit later. Does anybody else have any questions or comments at this moment before we go to the next speaker? Nope. Okay. Thanks again. And so, Christy?
Yes, we have Ms. Jensen with Loudoun Habitat for Humanity. So again, you have the ability on your end to share your screen.
Okay, will do.
Good evening.
Good evening. Okay, did you guys get this?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
You can see it?
Yes.
Okay, it doesn't come up on my end, so I just want to make sure. Okay. Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here. Loudoun Habitat has such a reputation for building homes, but we are expanding our impact to homeowners, and a lot of that community are veterans. So Christy invited me to come, actually Tom Grant, Connection, invited me here because we do a lot of work with veterans in Loudoun County, and I wanted to just share our program with you so that we can share the word and increase this impact. So I'll get started. So our goals, just to touch on this a little bit, are to provide affordable home repairs to eligible Loudoun County homeowners. A lot of veterans fall into this eligibility, and we promote this. Again, like I said, we're trying to grow our impact in Loudoun to further, from just our homeownership program, but also to home repairs. So again, where this fits in, we've got our homeownership program, our repairs, and I will touch on the different categories that we have. And we've also launched a learning center, which could be valuable. We've had conversations about how do we guide some of our learning center option workshops towards veterans and target roofs. There are 3 categories for home repairs. Are the critical home repairs, which is the majority of our repair projects right now. They're internal and external repairs to alleviate health, life, and safety code issues. I have some before and after pictures of what we've done in the past, but a lot of this will include modifications and accessibility as well. Our home preservation, for those who can't take care of the exterior of their home, we've got teams that can come in and work on small projects, and then also weatherization, because we really want to increase the longevity of living in your home. On critical home repair, just to give you some examples, if replacing major systems in the homes, water heaters, plumbing, electrical, any safety code violations, we have done, they've been hit with HOA violations or codes. We've come in and taken care of those for them. Accessibility modifications, installing wheelchair ramps, handrails, we've widened doors. And we've repaired damages, roofs, siding. And I have some fun pictures to show you in just a little bit for that. Our home preservation, again, exterior work, painting, landscaping. If there's decks and fences are falling down, we can help repair those. And weatherization, improve energy efficiency, duct cleaning, increase insulation, or air sealing. Here's our program at work. And you can see this is actually a veteran's home where we repaired her stairs. This is also the same project. We laid pavers for a veteran to have wheelchair access to a chairlift in the rear of her home. The HOA would not allow her to have a lift in the front, so we had to create this pathway to the back and allow access to a lift that would take her up to the 2nd story deck. And here, I got some more pictures. And this was actually the deck. It was in poor shape. So we had a team of volunteers come out and repair this so that it was more stable for her to get into her home. Another critical home repair, we have actually this home we completely gutted, widened doors, made it fully accessible for a veteran, a Vietnam vet, and then created a ramp for him to access his home. Actually, I'm going to go back and touch on this. This project was a large project. It took a lot of collaboration. We worked with large companies. We worked with, I think it started with Comstock's office and then switched over to Wexton, if I have that correct. I live in Maryland, so I think I have that right. And so they were there and they presented him with flags and welcomed him home officially from Vietnam. It was a very large celebration and very touching. So this was an exciting project to be a part of. Some of our home preservation, again, this was the county came in and said, you've got a shed that's falling down. So we had a team come in and repair it. This was, we do our home preservation, waterproofing, and there were some serious drainage issues and water was entering the home, as you can see here. So that was just some fun pictures to show you what we are doing and what we have done and what we would like to do more of. And now I just want to touch on our program itself. So there's 3 tenets: need, willingness to partner, and the ability to pay. Go through those in a little bit more detail. The need, everyone deserves a decent place to live. That is our mission at Habitat for Humanity. They have to be able, they cannot be able to perform these repairs themselves, and they must qualify within the income eligibility. And here is that eligibility. So our program goes up to 60% AMI. We are looking to revise that to upgrade that to 80% of AMI. And if you're not familiar with that, we can go into that, or you can look it up. I think it's about the AMI of this area is 120,000 at this point. So we're looking at those who make 60% of that or below. The ability to pay, so we have a sliding scale, 5 or 10 or 15% of the total cost of the project, which is a really affordable option for home repairs, especially when one of them was upwards of $60,000 for the interior work. So it's a really great program and very affordable for all who are eligible. This is just some pricing examples. I'm limited on time, so I'll pass over that. Our willingness to partner. So we require 8 hours of sweat equity. We are very creative on how we handle this. Obviously, we like to see our homeowners out in the construction, but obviously that's not always an option. This was actually the son of our veteran who was in a wheelchair. So he came out and donated his time for her. And then, you know, writing testimonies and just being a part of our Habitat family. Again, some examples of how they can volunteer. And then we always welcome others to volunteer to our, you know, for our program. That's how we get a lot of our work done. So share that. And then I have my contact information. If you have any questions, I can send out flyers and would be happy to answer any questions that you have. But we started the program about 2 years ago. We really want to grow this program, and we know that there is a significant need in Loudoun, especially in the veteran community. So please share the word. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Does anybody have any questions for Tara?
I've got a quick comment. This is Chuck. As I understand it, Loudoun Habitat is independent of other habitats, but I didn't know until I volunteered here a few weeks back. And so all money and all materials are you get from Loudoun County, right? Or from people in this area. There's no national organization that funds you or does that kind of stuff. You're an independent
Yes,
group.
Exactly.
And
yes, so our funding moves up. So we support Habitat International and the international work that Habitat does. But yes, all of our fundraising is done locally.
Okay, so I assume you don't have any projects ongoing right now because of the
That's a great question. Yes, actually we do. So we are working on exterior projects currently. So we have a siding repair and you know, some shingles. The wind has been pretty impressive the last couple of weeks. You have some shingle repair work going on right now. So we are taking on exterior work and working with contractors who are prepared with the proper PPE and can, you know, are taking those precautions.
So we can anticipate that you might get a lot of requests as the situation becomes more stable.
Yes,
we don't know that yet. We think so, right?
Right. We do hope that is the case. That, I mean, we're anticipating, I won't say a flood of applications, but an increase in applications as more people have become eligible for our program in the next months.
Right. Thanks. Thank you again for coming with us.
Absolutely. Yes, thank you for having me.
Okay. At this point, I want to talk a little bit about what we can do within the county from our own organizations to support veterans. And Ken, did you want to join this discussion here? Ken, James?
Yeah, I'm here.
Go ahead. Do you want to talk to this or do you want me to talk to it?
Why don't you go and talk to this one and then I'll pick up on the next one there. Please go ahead.
We're thinking about the support we provided over the last several years. A lot of it has been financial. There have been several cases where we did things like the work that's done by Habitat in terms of helping veterans repair homes and so forth. And in some cases, volunteer labor material. We lost the, oops, okay.
Sorry.
We're trying to think to ourselves, what's the situation going to be like in the next 6 months? what support could we offer to, oops,
Sorry.
member organizations? We okay, Christy?
I'm good. I'm good.
And one of the things that I was looking at, by the way, was we got an information email from Howard County, some of the programs that they were looking at. And I was just trying to compare that and ask what kind of program like that do we have in Loudoun County? Ken, do you want to go to that particular?
Yeah, we'll go to the next slide. And Tom, you might be able to help us out on this. This is something that I got this, and Jim got it as well. Many others may have, but it was just something from Howard County that laid out exactly what was going on within their local area. So it's several pages long, but it gets involved in ready resources that are available across their entire area for the veterans. So we weren't sure if there was already a resource. I mean, we haven't been able to put our fingers on a resource like this for Loudoun County, but this is something that one putting on our Facebook, or Tom certainly putting on, for you. These are all areas that we can advertise or push this kind of information out. But this is just something we came across. We weren't sure. We just thought we'd bring it up and talk about it as a group tonight on what we want to try to do from our CVEB to get the information out, and how do we work with, and I say our CVEB, it's working with Tom and working through Tom to make sure that the veterans understand that Tom is the focal point. And I want to stress that, because in the next item we'll talk about, we do not want to be seen as the go-to person in the county. That is why Loudoun County put on a full-time veteran services coordinator. And I think it's very important that we keep the focus on Tom and his office. And we're grateful for what the Board of Supervisors has done for our veterans. So we want to keep that focus where it's at. So anyway, I'll open it up. And Jim, did you have anything else you wanted to add, please?
I was just thinking that the Department of Veteran Services here in the Commonwealth, Mike has a program going, I think if I remember right, with several veterans where they have an online meeting here. Is that a weekly meeting, Mike?
Yes, sir. We're doing that every Wednesday night. We've switched platforms. I can provide my contact information if people want to get involved with that. We've had over 25 people participate the last couple of meetings we've had. They've been going on the last 3 weeks. So it's just be a veteran, be a resident of Virginia, and it's just a great way for us to connect while we're all hunkered down.
Do you expect to see more people join that particular activity as time passes? Or?
It's actually, the interest has been much greater than the actual in-person meetings. The in-person meetings that I've been trying to do over at the Ashburn office have been 4 or 5 veterans, but what we've done is we've combined all of the group meetings throughout Northern Virginia to the call-in. So we're getting all of the veterans that are in Northern Virginia that are interested all connected, and it's been wonderful.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Anybody else have a comment before we go to the next view graph?
And I just wanted to explain a little bit more about this Howard County newsletter. If you guys aren't familiar, Lisa Terry works over in Howard County, Maryland, and she puts out a monthly, I believe it is, newsletter that gets sent out to a huge distribution list of individuals. And when COVID-19 started, she began putting out a newsletter that really highlights things that are going on specific to the crisis for veterans in Howard County. So this is a newsletter that comes out. It highlights events mostly in Howard County, but then she touches on different things that apply throughout the National Capital Region to veterans. So she's highlighted a number of different events that from employment to things like financial assistance, just various different events and activities people can get involved in. And of course, we know that Tom does a great job email blasting out as soon as he gets an event and information, sending that our way. But obviously what I think Ken is is alluding to is this something that we should do within Loudoun County to help
Exactly.
generate the information that Tom is sharing, but sharing it maybe through our Facebook page. If we do maybe compile things and sending it out in a newsletter, what other ways or things that we can approach from our county to help spread the word about things available to veterans in the community. Is that right, Ken?
Yeah, that's exactly right. But we want to do it in such a way as we keep the focus on Tom. And I will say that if we want to go to the next, we'll go to the next view graph. This is the letter that most of you may be aware that we had put together a letter that was going out to the clergy that was going to talk to them about the VEAC, and it was going to ask them to get in touch with their veterans and their congregations to talk to them about coming down to be a part of that. Since the VEAC has been postponed, we see possibly a need coming up after the 15th of this month, around the 1st of next month, where we may have some veterans who need some money for food, or they may need money or support to help with their utilities, rent, etc. So what we wanted to do was put together the comm team looked at putting together a letter that would go out to the clergy. This will be actually the first introduction of the CVEB to the clergy, to let them know that they are stakeholders in this organization as well. And the idea would be to, as you'll see in the second paragraph of this particular letter, we talk about the fact that the Loudoun County Board of Supervisors has hired a full-time Veterans Services Coordinator, and that we, the CVEB, work closely with Tom's office to make sure we get the services turned on for the right or for the veterans. So in this letter is Tom's email address, as well as far as his website and his phone number. Attached to this letter is a flyer that's on the right-hand side of the slide, and as you can see, it kind of introduces us, but it points to the fact that we work through Tom and the Loudoun County Veterans Service Office, and if they need support, then they're more than welcome to call Tom's phone, or call Tom rather, or go online and get in touch with him. But our intent here is to try to make sure that we get the clergy on board to notify their vets and provide them with a resource where they can get those folks to us as quickly as possible, so that we can get care to them. So this is another one of the communication efforts. We're also looking at newspaper articles to go in several of the papers that published notifications back around Thanksgiving that we were going to be doing the VEAC in June. So we want to go back out with something to the papers that will kind of say that, we're still here, we're still serving our vets, but the VEAC has been postponed or pushed down the road. So just some things that we're doing in the comm area, but the idea is to get the word out and try to let folks know where they can go to get help. So I'll open it up for questions on that.
I see Linda has raised her hand. Linda, do you want to come off mute?
Please.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for a very good set of presentations. I wanted to make a comment about what Lisa Terry is doing in Howard County, and that the way that Frederick County is going to be approaching this is to create a separate resource guide for veterans specific to COVID-19. We already have a resource guide to veteran services in Frederick County that we update monthly, every other month, depending on what's going on, and that's just general information. But we will be working on that this coming week, and we're going to be pushing that out through something that the county has created called a Joint Information Council, which is an interagency council. All the different departments in the county put out an email blast with updates for every single department. So it is a one-stop shop, and it goes to everyone who subscribes to the county Facebook page, Twitter account, everything. So that's the approach that we're using, is to create a COVID-19 resource list, and then using our joint interagency communications power to get that out to everyone. And that includes the folks at Fort Detrick, because we have this major installation in our county, as well as all of our VSOs. So we're not as fortunate as Howard County to have all of the resources they have, but we're working on trying to build that as a living, breathing document so that we can keep it up to date.
Great.
Thank you very much. That's good information. I noticed that, at least in Loudoun County, one of the activities that was mentioned the other day from the county was a fund for people that may need help in paying rent, for example. Tom put that out in the email the other day. Tom, do you want to comment on that at all? You know much about it?
Jim, I don't know the specifics of the program beyond what was listed in that email that I sent out.
Do you have any feeling from the county that they're looking to create something like what the other counties are doing in terms of gathering together information for people that have problems or needs?
Jim, I think Loudoun County's already attempted to do that through various fora, including their Facebook and their websites, and but they're taking more of, and they have in the past taken a more of a general support approach to it, in the sense of get the information out to everybody rather than targeting a specific population, i.e. veterans or EG veterans. It's a more, they believe it's a more efficient and effective use of the resources. So if you will, the county is in general support and I'm the direct support piece of this. And to go back to the idea of the newsletter, frankly, it's a bandwidth issue for me. I can either take care of the 5 veterans that walk into my office every day, or I can spend a day putting together a newsletter. Or what I've opted to do in the last 2.5 years is, like, you know, I'm the squad leader. You know, I get something, I send out a salute report. I put out an email to everybody and then leave it up to you. It's a pyramid scheme. If I tell 300 people on an email distribution list and they tell 10 people, that's how the information gets out to the veterans community. Is it, do I get everybody? There's no way I get everybody. If we've got 25,000 veterans in the county, and God knows how many active duty people that live out here, all of us have discussed this at the CVEB. We're looking for better ways to reach out to our veterans community, which I'm trying to do right now in concert with VEO at VA, as well as the DVS office.
Thanks.
Thanks, Tom.
Go ahead, Ken. Ken, did you want to say something?
No, I just wanted to say thanks to Tom for all the great work he's doing, and I appreciate the fact that when he gets this stuff, especially from VA, I mean, it's the moment he gets it, it's being turned right back out to us. So it's helping to pass that word to the groups that we're part of, to the VSOs. So appreciate everything you're doing, Tom. It's super work. So thank you.
And Jim Mullen, this is Mike Turner. I'm on. We're tracking the CARES Act money coming through Virginia and then coming down into the county pretty carefully, and I'm always keeping my eye open for how we're going to get money here into Loudoun County from that. All the supervisors are. So if I see anything at all that's particularly anything that's veteran specific, I'll make sure I let you know.
Thank you. And I think the executive committee will probably talk about this again after this meeting. But again, if there's anything that we can do to support the general, as you say, the county itself and Tom in particular, as they look at supporting the county at large, but veterans as well. If there are some, and our members have capabilities, as we've seen this evening, I mean, we can bring some of that to bear, you know, on support, besides just finance. So,
Just one thing, Jim, this particular letter and the flyer that's going out is just one effort, but we want to continue to keep that communications link open and keep pushing this stuff out to our various stakeholders so we can get the word out. That's just another way we're going to try to do it. So if there's particular things that this group thinks that we need to make sure is out there out there for all of our veterans, please let us know, and we'll take action on it. So thank you very much.
Okay, just to kind of summarize a couple of points, as we go forward here over the next couple of months, we certainly, our members, as they've done in the past, are going to continue to support Tom Grant when he puts out requests for support to some of the people that come to him looking for help in various ways, money or labor support. We'll also look at how we might be able to continue to plan a replacement for the program we had planned for June, when and if we can get that particular settled. So there'll be activity here over the next month and a half to look at options as we've discussed tonight. I
Jim,
kind of go ahead, Tom.
One other comment. If the group as a whole believes it would be more efficient, or more importantly, more effective, to collate data and put it out in a newsletter format, I'd be willing to entertain how to go about doing that. Christy does a marvelous job at serving together. She puts out a weekly thing, but you happen to be talking to probably the only guy in Loudoun County who doesn't carry a cell phone, and is challenged to put together a Word document. So anything beyond that's going to be a real challenge for me personally. But I know there's a lot of resources out there, but I'd be willing to discuss, whether you guys think it'd be more effective to collate the data and put it out on a monthly or a weekly basis or something like that. So
I think that that's an interesting point, because we get emails from you, and sometimes I feel like that it maybe just disappears. So the question is, how can we collate it? We've got a lot of newsletters around. I get one from the VA about once a week with about 200 items on it. But can we do something like that in Loudoun County to help you out with getting information between you and the people that you support? So we'll talk about that in our next executive meeting. Okay.
Thanks, Tom.
Thanks again. So that we've reached the end of the meeting. The next meeting that we will hold is the CVEB. It's bi-monthly, so that's in June the 9th. But we will be having meetings, I said, with our executive committee in between then. We may be looking to come back to our members with requests for help and support. So again, thank you very much for joining us this evening, and that ends our meeting. Thanks again.
Hi, is Tom on the line?
I am.
Hi, Tom Grant. This is Jarita. I joined a little late. How are you?
Oh, hi, Jarita.
Hi. Listen, I just wanted to give you a heads up, and for everyone's FYI, I'm sorry I joined this call late, but I don't know if you've touched base with all the veterans who are in the Heronview building, Tom.
I talked to a couple of them, but I don't know all of them, I don't think, Jarita.
Okay. Well, somebody here tested positive for COVID-19 at Heronview, so they've sent out a notice today.
Okay.
I know of 1 or 2 veterans in this building. I'm not sure if any of them were impacted, but I will keep my ears to the ground.
Yeah, definitely let Dina know, because she's elderly.
Yep.
And of course with you and Charlie. So.
Yeah, we're good. We've pretty much locked ourselves down for the past month. So.
Okay.
But I am concerned about some of the older veterans who live on the first floor here. So I'm just wondering if you checked in with them.
If you need somebody to, I'm willing to.
Okay. If you can send me an email, if you know which apartment Dina's is, then I can check up on her or ask the building manager.
I spoke with her this morning. I'll send you her phone number.
Okay. Sounds good.
Anybody else?
I see Scott Morris has his hand up. Do you have something?
Yeah, quick question. These were really informative briefings that we got tonight. Is it possible to get these PowerPoints sent out so we can keep them in a folder in case we're looking for some help with something we can reference back to it?
So I have this recorded, so I am going to send the recorded message. And I do believe I have a copy of Tara's presentation. I'll have to confirm with her if I can share it. And then I don't know if Donnell's still there or not, but I can confirm with him if he'd like me to share his.
Okay, great. Thanks.
I'll email you my slides, Christy.
Okay, great. Thank you, Donnell. So yeah, I can share that, and I'll confirm with Tara. And then if anything, I will be sharing the recorded meeting in the follow-up notes.
Okay.
Christy, I've got a quick question for Tom Grant. Tom, could you give us a quick assessment of what you're seeing in the veterans community in light of this pandemic? Are you seeing many requests for help, or is it pretty quiet, or what?
I'm getting, I did not get the deluge of requests that I expected. I was expecting a lot more financial requests for support, but I am getting many just calls out of the blue looking for information, and those are being pointed back to the county and the federal and the state resources. So those are kind of requests for information. Requests for direct support are fewer than I expected. Does that answer the question, Rich?
It sure does. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Tom, one of the reasons, and I mentioned this in that letter, we were thinking it might be the 15th of this month or even around the 1st of April, given the timing of everything. So whatever we can do, I know you always call us, and we're appreciative of that, so we can reach out and help them. But please keep us, let us know, and I know you will. You'll let us know as soon as you know something. But I think we may see a pickup in that later on.
Absolutely. And to add to that, Richard, I have seen a pickup in people just kind of pinging off the network. It's more of just how you doing, just kind of, making people, giving them some confidence and that we're going to get through this. It's just more confidence building than anything else. I did not get those kind of phone calls before the crisis, but that's to be expected.
Yep.
Roger that.
Okay. Again, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you also.
Thanks, Jim.
Good night. Good night. Thanks, Christy.
Christy, can you put your email address in the
Yes, I
chat
will.
real quick?
Yes. Oops, sorry.